Hey everybody, it's just us. This is January 1st, 2025, and it's kind of our 2024 recap. We haven't done one of our newsletters in like 5 years. I haven't done one since we moved into the house in 2019, so a little bit behind.
Yeah, so we're just doing a video one this time.
They're trying to sitting down trying to brainstorm like the main events that happened in 2024, and trust me, there were a lot of them
In our lives.
Yeah, in our lives. It's like I'm not talking locally, nationally, and the other stuff, but just
Maybe a little bit.
Oh yeah, we'll touch on that a little bit as we get into this. I cannot keep my hair out of my face. And if you saw my recent Facebook post, you saw my just silly post of what 2024 did to me, and I'm kind of like.
She can make better faces than me.
But we're both goofballs. Don't let him fool you. He may be quiet, but he's been around us way too long. I've corrupted this man pretty severely, at least in his sense of humor.
Maybe.
Or I should say we've corrupted each other because, yeah, he's just as guilty in other ways. So
Once in a while.
But, I mean, if we go back to like where we were a year ago, in January 1st of 2024, the year was starting out pretty slow.
365 days ago.
And just a week into the new year, we finally get our first major snow that we'd had last year. And he gets called to work. And he goes to get in Lexi and get out of the driveway.
This is BNSF.
Gets all of his grip packed, gets his cooler packed, gets in Lexi, goes to back out the driveway, and
I ain't going nowhere.
got completely high centered in the snow. So
in partway in the street.
Yeah. Lexi was in the cul-de-sac, but yeah, she was.
That's as far as she's gonna go.
Yeah, she couldn't go forward. He couldn't even get back in the driveway. I mean, she was stuck. So that ended up with kind of a big menagerie of just kind of chaos, trying to get a hold of the railroad, saying he's not going to be in, and then with their stupid point system that they have. And then they're like, oh, well, we can lay you off on call. For a lot of people that don't understand what a layoff is, it's not like he's being laid off from work. A layoff is basically a call out. It's basically when you're calling off of work for either a paid day or an unpaid day. It's called a layoff when you're with the railroad. So, and
they gave me a weather excuse.
Yeah, it took a little while, but
it's all good.
It started out as a 20-point penalty, and he only has 30 points to begin with.
And that's not real friendly, but that's another story.
But they corrected it and made it into a weather-related layoff, and that helped us a lot because, honestly, what can we do? It's not like we're going to go out and shovel the cul-de-sac or the street all the way to get out to the main drag, which is, 3 blocks to get out to 14th?
It's a quarter mile.
Yeah.
Almost.
Pretty decent amount. But so that's that.
We're the last on the priority list, so.
And I'm like, okay, if this is how our year is starting out, what's this year got in store for us? It's kind of like when we say it's like, oh, it can't get any worse. Never say that.
It was a roller coaster.
Never say that.
Up and down and very long drawn.
So that was clear back in January as some of the months went on. Pre-spring, Dennis's mom, I always also call her mom, she found out that her friend of hers had passed away, and she wanted to make arrangements to go down to her funeral down in Reno, Nevada. She lives up in Montana. And so I was kind of helping her make her reservations and get all that settled in.
She used to live down there back near the 80s, so.
And this had been a friend of hers, like, since way back in the day, so she didn't want to miss her thing. And then I was helping her get it set up because, believe it or not, there's still hotels in Reno that have smoking rooms, and Mom was a smoker, so I had to kind of help her get that figured out. So that was not fun to figure out in this day and age. But she goes down there and she gets home, and then she ends up, we find out that she's actually been really sick for a long time. We had no idea.
Later, but we'll get into that.
And we were then surprised with a phone call, bring, Mom's in the hospital with diverticulitis and some other stuff going on. It's like a gastrointestinal infection of sorts. And as we were approaching the end of April and first part of May and then as we get past our anniversary, which is May 9th, and we're like, okay, it's like we got past our anniversary, now we just gotta hope Mom gets better. And on Mother's Day, we get a call at 2:00 in the morning that Mom passed away. So that was hard.
what a day for it to happen on.
On Mother's Day.
I mean, her birthday was like 2 weeks prior, and then there was Mother's Day, but she picked Mother's Day. So.
Yeah, her birthday had been April
Remember.
25th. Our anniversary was May 9th, and she passed on May 12th.
Yep.
So, adding chaos, we were actually planning on going to Montana.
In June.
Yeah, to see Mom and to see family. Well, those plans had to end up getting changed because, of course, we had to go for the funeral.
Yeah, instead of going up there to visit, we're going up there to, make the final
Final arrangements and everything.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Aunt Betsy, for all of your help with that. We could not have done any of this without her help. She has been such a huge help on all of this. Or we probably could have, but it would have been a lot more work.
The Day of Remembrance, it was done quite well.
Yes, it was,
We were
it was very
surprised.
beautifully done. So, that was a rush trip to Montana, take care of that, and
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we pretty much did that on like the last day. We started looking through the house, and we're like going, oh boy.
Yeah, I noticed the sneer on my face. The house has been in the family for 90 years. So imagine 90 years of stuff, and there's 7, 8 monster closets packed full of stuff.
Mom coming from a family of 6, she's one of 7.
And so the house is just packed stem to stern, east, west, north, south. Just tons of stuff everywhere. And between the trip for the funeral and 2 other trips that we've made to Montana, week-long trips, we have filled 10 dumpsters.
I think it's been over that now, hasn't it? Or is that the total?
No, that's the total so far is 10. Because
Okay,
Carrie
yeah, that was
Carrie
just
and
on
Betsy
one
did the
time.
1, and then we've done 9. So
That was a lot.
yeah. So that's been a bunch of cases. We're not done yet. We're going to end up going up to Montana a couple more times. At least 2 more times that we know of.
Yeah, after that one in June, we had 2 other trips. The other one we tied to the end of a vacation trip. So the first week was like have a good time, and the second half was mess with the house. And then we did another one in November and we were hoping to finish it out. Well, we got to make another one in the spring this year, so it ain't over yet.
Yeah, we're hoping another week and we might get done. It's a lot of stuff. So, and he's got a lot of memories there, obviously. I've found some cool treasures and stuff like that, some things that were kind of cool in the thing.
It's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah. But like I said, he's got the memories and stuff associated. For me, it's a little bit easier because I can look at stuff more objectively because I don't have the memories attached. But I'm also, anything that's like, oh, could this be something? I make sure to stop and ask him or Betsy.
It's like mining. We're getting rid of the overburden, and then we're trying to get that little bit of gold at the end.
Mm-hmm. And we have found some really good surprises along the way.
A few.
But back here at home, I have to give total credit to this guy right here. Well, in 2023, he started developing an idea for a homemade type of misters. We had wasted, I don't even want to think of how much money we wasted on irrigation kits from Amazon with all these little mister heads and things like that to try to figure out how to water our trees and different parts of the yard. But he came up with this idea for these mister towers. And he designed them and built them, and we've had to tweak them a little bit, but they have been brilliant because we've lived here now for 5 years, and we still don't have a yard. We have pieces of a yard.
We've tried different methods, and they all have failed. And this one is one that it works. It's just time-consuming and slow because our yard size and the water pressure that we have to work with.
And for those that aren't familiar, our yard size, the piece that we bought at the end of the cul-de-sac, we own 0.51 acres. But with all of the easements attached to the property that are part of our property, we have 0.7 acres. So, it's a lot.
With my schedule and with it raining and days that are good and ones that are just too hot and you just don't want to do anything out there. It's been kind of a juggling match trying to get things to fit in and mesh just right.
Mm-hmm. But so that's been
The yard's a lot of work.
But with these misters, he has had a lot more success than what we've had with any of the other ideas. I mean, we've done the whole straw idea, and we've done the different ideas, and we've tried tarping things, and we've done other things of like trying to do the ground erosion type stuff. We've wasted so much money trying to get grass growing, and these misters
the weeds
have been
are terrible.
Oh.
You don't get to them; they just grow like a jungle.
And for any of you that think morning glory is a plant, no.
It's a freaking weed. Kill it. Get rid of it.
We hate morning glory. It has taken over our good portion of the yard, and trying to kill it with the root system that those things have. If you have no idea, they can go down as much as 20 feet. Seriously.
I've read as much as 30, but yeah.
Anyway, it's a lot. And yes, I'm drinking the hard stuff. I gotta have my Pepsi, so.
Mine's cherry Dr. Pepper, but I don't have any at the moment, so.
Are you out?
No, I got some.
Oh, okay. You just don't have it at the moment.
Yeah.
But going back, we had mentioned our couple other trips to Montana. The trip that he was talking about, like half vacation, half the whole taking care of the house. Help remind me of exactly what we did, because I know we did Amtrak, and then we did the thing out of Hell's Canyon, but we flew from here to where?
Here to Seattle, I think. And then we stayed
Yeah,
in Olympia.
Yep, we did. Yeah, sorry, my brain is. I guess 2024 has me completely Twitter pated. So
Met some friends in a small town just north of Vancouver.
got to go see
Fort
St.
Washington,
Helens. It was the first time.
British Columbia.
He's been to St. Helens since he went with Mom many years ago, and it was the first time I'd ever seen it. So that was we got some really cool pictures.
She was surprised how right there and how big it was.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't been there since my last visit with my mom in 1987 in the summer of. So it's been a long time for me.
And when we went up there, it was kind of a cloudy day a little bit, but it cleared up when just as we were getting ready to leave, and it was like we got to see some awesome views. So if you want to check out some of those pictures, you can find them both on our Facebook. It's under one of the recent albums that we did.
We were well within the destruction zone from the 1980 eruption.
And then he managed to actually get me on a helicopter.
I hadn't had a helicopter ride since I flew with my dad back sometime in the early 1980s. It was a 1950s built Chickasaw. So it was a little bit bigger than the one we did here.
And
it was fun.
I was nervous. I mean, I like the whole, it's like, okay, flying, I still have a little bit of a fear of flying, but I can do it. But the whole thing of like being in a helicopter, it just feels very out of control.
I thought it was fun.
Of course you did. I'm like going, I was going like this.
Yeah, she had to duck. She was too tall.
Even like this, my head was against the roof, the ceiling. It's like.
And when I flew with my dad, I was much younger at the time. There was plenty of headroom. This one, there wasn't much headroom.
So it was like just going. But we got
She's kind of tilted, actually.
Yeah, all tilted and scrunched like.
So if you're a tall person, helicopter, you might want to get a bigger helicopter.
Yes. And we were in a fairly good sized helicopter, but it just wasn't.
It was 4 passengers.
Yeah. And so that was a bit of the kind of fun stuff. I'm glad we did it. I don't know if I ever want to get on another helicopter again.
We went down in about 47 miles south of Lewistown, Idaho, which is kind of in the Chimney center west part of the state.
Yeah, I guess one side of the river is Lewiston, and the other side is like Clarkston, because I guess it's like Lewis and Clark.
The historic fame and all that. But we went to Hell's Canyon. It's a very, by land, it's very inaccessible. So, I mean, helicopter or boats, the only two options really to get back there. Unless you go to some private landowner, maybe like, can I ride a horse back there? I mean, I don't know. But with her disabilities and all that, and time constraints and all that. I mean, it was
the best way to do it was the helicopter. Yeah. So
it's something I haven't seen before. I heard about it. It's one of the deepest canyons in North America, deeper than the Grand Canyon, almost 1.5 miles deep. We didn't get to the peak parts of that, but we did go just a little bit north of there. But it's still cool. And
then after that, we went back to Portland, or no, not Portland.
Went back to Pasco.
Pasco, that was it.
Got back on the train and got a sleeper.
And then we took that to East Glacier. And Aunt Betsy really must love us because she drove almost 5 hours to get us.
We had to wait a few hours. It didn't work out.
And then on the way, as we were leaving there and going back down towards Butte, we went through Glacier National Park, which I'd never seen before, but it is...
I hadn't been to the park since my early years in high school.
I know, but he always talks that's his favorite national park.
One of my favorites.
So
it's always been. ever since I was younger.
Don't let him kid you. Not one of his favorites. When he talks about it, it's his favorite.
Well, I like others too. I like Glacier. It's just a beautiful park.
There are some interesting views there, but it's like, for me, it's like some of the views, it's like, okay, a mountain, another mountain.
One of those places that if I had the time, I mean, there's a heck of a lot of hiking trails through the glacier, and it's one of those places I could spend a lot of days hiking and exploring.
Mm-hmm.
When we left the park, it was like super expensive up there as far as like hotel places. We did find one. It wasn't far from the airport. It wasn't in like the prettiest thing around, but it was, I mean, way
That was
better.
in Bozeman, right?
No, that was up in Kalispell.
Oh, Kalispell, that's
Yeah,
right.
north of
Kalispell.
Flathead, east of Flathead Lake. I mean, it wasn't far from a Motel 6, and it was a good place. It just, I mean, wasn't as fancy as maybe some of the others were.
It was a nice lodge-style hotel.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like just a cheap little place, but it was just, for what it was overpriced.
But it was, compared to every place else, it was affordable.
Yeah. I mean, it was...
Every place else was almost double the cost.
I mean, this was like $269 a night per room, plus taxes and fees and everything. So that's like...
Back when I was a kid, I mean, the price obviously were way less, but even minus out inflation, it was way cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, unless you stayed at the ski resort or something like that, like a Big Mountain, or what used to be Big Mountain at the time, now it's Whitefish Mountain.
Yes, we were just talking the other day how long it's been since we've gone skiing. That's a whole other story.
That was one of my favorite, all-time favorite resorts in the country that I've been to. One of the top. I mean, there's a few others, but it's one that ranks up there pretty high. Last time I went there was in '99. I actually went there during the whole Y2K thing.
Yeah, which, I mean, to think about, today we are as close to 2050 as we are from Y2K. That's a whole other
I'll tell you another little thing, too. Whitefish made the national headlines for the craziest town in America that morning, or that New Year's Eve is what I'm trying to say.
For what?
People were going crazy and they were drunk, and Canadians were coming in. It was a riot. It's crazy.
Total shit show, it sounds like.
Basically. I mean, even my uncle was talking about it.
Okay, which one? You've got more than
Jerry. But anyhow, on to other things. But anyhow, so we spent the night there. We went the next morning. We got up and we all got together and we went to can't even think of the name of it. I think it starts with a C, but it's like up there in Kalispell, and it's like kind of a mom and pop, like kind of breakfast or.
Oh yeah, those like a little breakfast joint. So I'll look it up and I'll put the place in the comments underneath this video, so in case you're curious.
It's like something like that.
I don't think that's it. I'm not sure, but I'll look it up.
So I don't know what they had, but I got an order of pancakes. They were the biggest pancakes I'd ever seen. As big as my hands are, that's as big as they were. Basically it covered the entire plate.
And there were 3 of them.
In one setting. I had to throw some in the freezer and have them another day.
Yeah, he took them with us, and we had them at the hotel for the next couple nights after that. So,
but they were not only were they big, they were probably the best tasting pancakes I've ever gotten from a restaurant before.
So a huge shout out to them on that. Like I said, I'll put their information in the comments below. But yeah, I mean, and believe it or not, that's not all of our Montana news. So it's like with that, it's like there was something that actually happened in 2023, and we're not going to give too much away yet, but we were able to
get the first stage of a historic yard.
Yeah, there's something quite large that we were able to bring home.
Some of you know about it.
If you know about it, don't say anything in the comments.
People will know later in the year.
We're going to do some big posts later in the year 2025 of what this item is, but let's just say people are going to be...
Yeah, it'll make people look, I'm sure.
That'll make a lot of people
far
look.
From I-80, so...
Yeah, it'll be fully visible from the interstate when it's all done, and I'm sure it's going to garner some attention. So.
Yeah.
But that's been really cool, and a big shout out to Mom, bless her soul. That and I don't mean it like the whole bless your heart thing. It's like we loved Mom dearly, but she actually helped us with that historic thing too. So that'll be something that we'll always remember with it as well.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think if anything else happened in Montana that I can think of. Oh, of course, Rennie. A couple months after we lost Mom, we were very surprised to hear that Uncle Rennie's health had been going downhill. And hospice started coming into the house and just kind of helping, and it was a lot more sudden than anybody thought. But
I didn't expect to be losing 2 family members in 1 year.
no, and so that was, we were just, it's like, oh, Uncle Rennie passed away, and we're like, what? So that was just.
So there's just, I mean, 3 of my mom's siblings that are still with us.
And when we had gone up to Montana for Mom's funeral, we actually took one of the hats that we have from BNSF, and it actually matches one of Den's. We got it from another railroader friend of ours, and we actually gave that to Rennie because he's always had a love of trains, like you know who here.
We were told that he wore that, I mean, pretty regularly after I gave it to him, so it was kind of cool to hear.
That's very cool. So, and so that's been, it's it's kind of been crazy. And yes, by the way, if anybody's still curious, of course I'm still doing Movie Deputy. Been doing it over 10 years now, coming up on 11 years in April that we've been doing this. Chaos, good, bad, and otherwise. Or is it okay if I move on to that?
Yeah, go
I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, I'm ready.
But I know that we were talking about doing this in really short and sweet. So I
is,
promise you, if you guys stick with us, this is all going to be worth it. So apologies.
We're expecting this. You're trying to make this a lot shorter, but it's ended up like about 5 times longer than we intended. So oops, sorry.
Yes, but I promise it's going to be worth it. I mean, most of the year has kind of been high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, because we celebrate certain things, and of course, mourning the losses of family members. And don't worry, we've still got some highs and lows for you. And
so if we can put up with our highs and lows, you can put up with about 20-something minutes of our video here. So.
Yeah, and if you guys are curious, this is Serena.
Yeah.
One of our 7 kitties. Yes, we have 7 indoor cats. A lot more than any of you are probably aware of. And that's another bit of news for today. Is we brought number 7 home this year. Her name's Aurora, and she was a feral kitty that kind of got attacked by some coyotes. It's kind of a really long story, but we got her home, and she's been scared of her own shadow, and she's just started coming out.
I've never seen a cat where you just appear to her and she just bolts.
Yeah, she's just started coming out late at night, sometimes when I'm here, but whenever he's around, she goes, pew! He sees a streak, just a calico streak running across the floor. So that's a bit of fun on that.
Scoot. But whatever floor we got here, it's not carpeted, so it makes a bunch of noise with their nails.
Mm-hmm. But like with Movie Deputy, I don't know if a lot of you are aware, but we started a podcast a couple years ago. I don't know why I say we, it's me, myself, and I, so that counts as a we. Because
I think there was one time we did one together.
Mm-hmm, yeah, he's been I think on 2 episodes with me. I think
so.
Something like that. But we just published our 250th movie episode of the podcast episodes on our podcast hosting platform, but we've been starting to move all those over to YouTube. I think there's 90 something on YouTube so far, but I've reviewed over 2,300 movies in the last 10 plus years. So I'm a little bit behind on getting everything moved over to podcast format.
Like she says, she eats, sleeps, and drinks movies. Basically.
But we did. But Taro did not eat that. Where's the spray bottle? Is it handy?
No.
But Taro, Taro's chewing on furniture again. For those of you who are not familiar, he's
chewed a computer monitor.
Yeah, he chewed up a brand new computer monitor. He chewed up our kitchen chairs. But Taro,
he's very super independently stubborn.
And I'm just a side DNA. We found out some DNA through like one of those cat DNA things. He's an exotic, so we had no idea what he was, but we knew he was something.
Said he was an ordinary house cat. We're like, I don't think so.
I don't remember the exact percentages, but he's Bengal, Savannah, and Serval, along with the Heinz 57.
After they gave us our second, more accurate results.
Yeah, because the first results came back just weird, but they fixed it.
Yeah.
But back to Movie Deputy, we did our first official contest over the 12 days of Christmas. And I gave a clue every day for 11 days. And on the 12th day, I wanted people to submit their answers. And I surprisingly had a huge turnout, even with all my listeners. We had hundreds of submissions. We only actually had 1 grand prize winner that got the answer completely right. And we had 5 other got the answer partially right. So they're going to they just won like a little ornament thing that just says that they are a winner on the 12 Days of Christmas Movie Deputy 2024. So that was kind of cool. But Movie Deputy's biggest news right now is that just officially as of December of 2024, we opened an Etsy store. So if you guys like movie-related merchandise or just anything kind of related to like anything that could be like a comment or a tagline in a movie or anything like that, that just kind of gets your mind swirling, or you have something visually from a movie that you like or anything like that, you can find all sorts of stuff like that on our Etsy store. And that's moviedeputy.etsy.com. I know, shameless self-promotion.
In the first month, she's already got 78 items up.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got some that are already pretty catchy.
Yeah, we've got some bestsellers already so far, some particular items.
She has a year goal to reach 10,000, so...
I think I've set my sights a little too high, but I mean, it's a lot of work, but I'm going to do my best. I probably won't hit that, but I'm going to try to get at least close to as I can.
It's a goal.
Yes. So, and on a more fun note, I don't know if a lot of you remember our 2019. So sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, and I'll get to it in a minute.
I just don't want you to lose where you're at.
No, I got it.
Okay. We built our house in 2019, or we started it in 2018. We moved in June of 2019. And one of the biggest features of our home is what we call our great room. And it's our kitchen, our dining room, the foyer, and like the living room area.
We created it with the idea of having equal access to all areas of our house. We didn't have, major hallways and things like that to mess with.
And the whole house is handicap accessible.
And her and our builder went kind of rounds and rounds. They wanted to put a post,
multiple posts,
in the middle of this house. And I'm glad she kind of, put her foot down on that, because this is pretty amazing that we got this much open space.
And you're probably curious what we mean by open space, and I apologize. It's like we didn't do get everything like all tidied up and everything before we started our video.
Imagine maybe a tennis court, maybe?
A little smaller than that, maybe. Oh, the room is 38 feet long and it's 22 feet wide. And there's no posts. It's 10-foot ceilings throughout. So
It's got a couple corners and stuff, but yeah, the general overall size is pretty good size.
We're happy with it. I like it.
I like it.
I'm a little biased, but I like it.
And the colors are, this is what you see is the color. It's not white. It's not like a shadowing effect or anything.
And there's two different shades of this color also. There's a little bit lighter one in the foyer and a little bit darker one in the kitchen. So
yeah, and it's against like these darker browns.
And then we have floors that are chocolate brown and black.
Thought we'd make it real
And then,
contrasting.
as you can see, we have a black couch. Like
we didn't want to have the whole thing of white on white on white. Okay, a lot of people like it, but to me,
it's boring.
How boring? Really.
Can you really see either one of our personalities in a white on white on white house? No. It's like even our kitty cats are Technicolor, so
And 30, 40 years down the road, when we're way up there and this house moves on to another owner, and I think it still would be complementary to whatever they want to do with it.
But you may be curious why I brought this up about the size of the room. Well, when we lived in Beatrice, long time ago, we lived in Lincoln since 2013. But when we still lived in Beatrice, we splurged and got ourselves a 42-inch TV. Now,
it did not fit in this place, but it fit in the other place we were at.
It worked in Beatrice, and it worked in the apartment that we were in from 2013 to 2019, because we were at that point 8, maybe 10 feet away from the TV at the most.
Whereas here we almost need a pair of binoculars with the smaller TV we had before.
In our giant room here, from where we sit on the couch here to where the TV is located on the other side of the room over there, is almost 18 feet. And so, sitting here on the couch and looking at a 42-inch TV, it looked like it was about this big. So it's like, on some of it.
Oh, there's a couple cool things we have to mention about this TV, but I'll fill in the blanks.
But we decided pre-Black Friday this year, it's like, it's like when we don't really gift each other stuff a whole lot for the holidays, for birthdays, for stuff like that. What we do is we do things for our home, or things that we can share, or an experience, or something like that. And the year we first moved to Lincoln, we bought the washer and dryer for each other. That was our gift to each other. We still have the same washer and dryer. We love them.
We only had one minor thing we had to do to it, to one of them.
Mm-hmm. But then we decided to just go out and just start like window shopping basically for a TV. Or like, if we find something, we find something. If we don't, we don't. We were both trying to set a budget roughly, maybe 1,000, trying to max it out, maybe 1,000, 1,200. We weren't too far off from that, where we ended up. But we came across a TV and we're like, okay, this one caught my attention. And thankfully it caught his attention too when we started talking to...
Batero.
Yeah, this is Batero. This is our monster kitty. As you can tell, the size difference. Zaza, almost normal size kitty. Him, monster.
She's the oldest, though.
Yeah, she's the oldest. Ari, be nice to Zaza.
And he's half the age that she is.
Yeah, literally.
She just... Oh, hey,
Batero! I literally... Yeah.
A war right behind us. Anyhow. Moving on here.
But what we ended up finding was a 65-inch LG OLED 4K ultra high def television, and it's got so many. But no, stop it! It's got so many different features and things on it, and like we were like looking at it, and then we're looking at the price tag, and I'm like going,
"This TV is only literally that thin. The one we had before had a back like that."
Yeah, this TV is literally, it's about the thickness of my pinky.
It's more delicate. It's got to be this way. It can't be this way.
Yeah, you can't lay it down at all. Like an older TV, you might be able to do that. For this one, you can't do that at all.
And it's heavier.
It's like 65 pounds, something like that.
And then what was
it's like, how is it? It's like 65-inch TV, 65 pounds. I thought that was a weird coincidence.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Used to drive truck, and I had a load of nothing but glass, and it was a full 40-something thousand pound load. But anyhow, but yeah, the other features is 700,000 pixels that we had before, and this is like
8.3 million.
Yeah, I mean the clarity is just amazing.
It's amazing. You look at something that would have been clear on like one of the old tube TVs, like back in the day, and you put it on here, and it's like all blurry because it's like those pixels. I mean, are designed to be a certain size, but then you take a pixel that's this size, and you stretch it to like this. Obviously, it's going to blur it, and so I mean.
And it also depends on when things were filmed and the kind of cameras they were using. So, well, she can explain that better than I can.
Quincy, stop.
Quinn, leave that alone.
Another one of our kitties. We've got like a selfie stick set up right here. That's why we're both not sitting here going to go like this, holding on to
That's another thing we got this year. We thought we'd do something different.
Yeah, we got that for the trip. And it came in handy, especially for some family pictures that we did.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. So we're talking about all these really awesome things that just kind of were going on. And this year was kind of a big milestone for us and for our son. Our son turned 30 back in April. Mm-hmm. And we both turned 50. He turned 50 on June 7th. I turned 50 on July 17th. We're
half a century.
And we're literally only 40 days apart. For those of you who didn't realize that, we are literally the same age. We're 40 days apart.
People think she's in her 30s and they think I'm the old man.
They think he's my dad. We just got that not too long ago. We were going out to dinner or something somewhere, and it's so nice to see a young lady out to dinner with her father. And we're like, we're the same age. It's like people who think that Jason's my boyfriend and not my son. So that's sorry, kiddos. I mean, I know that's embarrassing. But it's one of those. It's like, oh, come on, people. Sorry, I just got a notification on our Ring doorbell that there was somebody at the front door. So it's okay. I put the information out there, so hopefully you talk, honey. I'll take care of this real quick. And I'm back. Suddenly, it's like going, where'd I go? I'm back. Sorry, goofballs, but I mean, when we celebrate his birthday, he loves the chocolate spice cake that I make, and so I make that for him on his birthday. As far as
I'm concerned, that's freaking awesome.
If you ever want my recipe, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to share it. But
she's got the best deviled eggs too.
I'm a little biased, but I think so.
I have not tasted any as good as hers.
I am so dry today. I don't know what's up.
Me too. Of course, when I talk, I get dry.
I do that a lot with the podcast too. That's why a lot of my podcasts are 10 minutes or less. But
this is like super exceeded, but we're telling the year of highlights. So
yeah, it's like trust us.
Deal with it.
There was one bit of news we dealt with in 2024 that just blindsided us. Neither one of us were expecting it.
I mean, as if my mom passing on her Mother's Day was bad enough. This was even worse.
I had been suffering from for those who don't know, I suffer from a lot of chronic health conditions. And one of the things that's been really bad over the last year plus is my just fatigue levels have just been, it's like I don't do anything and I'm just wiped out. And it's like, okay, it's like, like when you're in the flu, it's like you get up, you walk across the room, you get back and you're just like, oh, I'm done. Except that's been me pretty much constantly. And then doctor's been checking my blood work. My white blood cell count kept going like this. And so our family doctor, she looked at me and she's like, I don't want to alarm you, but she goes, I really don't think it's leukemia. That was literally the look I gave her. I'm like, well, obviously you thought it was leukemia if you don't think it's leukemia, because you wouldn't have brought it up if you didn't think it was leukemia. She goes, I'm going to send you over to oncology and hematology for some more tests. Oncology, cancer, hematology, blood disorders, for those who aren't familiar with the doctor's labels. So I get scheduled there for an appointment in October. And they call me. They're like, we had a cancellation on July 17th. Do you want to come? My 50th birthday.
She wasn't knowing what she was in for or to hear.
No. And so I go in. I just had my family doctor assure me that she did not think it was leukemia. She'd been running tests on me for an entire year. So I'm thinking, okay, she mentioned like hemochromatosis or whatever. Some of this really long name is what she was thinking it might be. So I went in there. He went to work. He asked me if he wanted me to go with him or anything. It's like, no, it's just going to be a routine visit. Well, I go in there and they run some more blood work, and I'm sitting in there and it's like past an hour and it's past 2 hours. We're approaching the 3-hour mark. And the doctor comes in with a PA that's with him, and he asks me if I'd like to call somebody. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Thinking, I don't know why my brain didn't go to this. It's like, okay, if the doctor's asking you if you want to call somebody, my brain first should have gone, it's like, okay, what the hell's wrong? My brain didn't do that. I'm thinking, oh, it's not going to be a big deal. It's my birthday.
Not thinking the best by any means.
And he asked me if I'd ever heard of chronic lymphocytic leukemia. And at that time, I never had. And he sits me down, and they're telling me of what CLL, and it can change, and it can like do these all different mutations and everything. And they're going to want to run a bunch of tests and stuff on me. But just were like really wanting to sit down with me and just kind of go over everything with this type of cancer. And I just feel like I'm just blindsided. It's like it doesn't even hit me at that point. They're going, it's basically, happy birthday, you have cancer. Obviously they didn't say it that way, but it's kind of like been my joke since then. And so I have to undergo a bunch of tests. We get some things done to do a bone marrow biopsy.
She had to have 2, and they took an enormous amount, which was very
they took 18 milliliters of bone marrow out of
recover just from that.
I mean, for those who can't fathom what 18 milliliters, have you ever seen like those little children medicine syringes? They're about the size of my pinky. It would be 3.5 of those little medication syringes full of bone marrow is what they took out. That's a lot. And they sent stuff off to different labs, and then stuff came back basically conclusive that I had CLL, which is chronic lymphocytic leukemia, LGL, which is large granulomer leukemia, and then I have a non-specific T-cell lymphoma. Of course, all these things are scaring me to death, and they have me I can't talk like this. They have me go and talk to palliative care. And I'm like, what? It's like, how serious is this that we're looking at this? And I'll end up learning as all this is done and all these test results finally start coming back that I'm stage 0 to 1. I'm like super early. Like if they had not been specifically looking for this, they probably wouldn't have even found it. It's so early stage. And it is, thankfully, after months and months and months and months and months of testing, it is stabilized and dormant. So
yeah, we went and took our last visit, was it November?
Mm-hmm, the end of November.
And this young guy and all that, he seemed pretty knowledgeable in the field that he's in,
and he said
gives us better news than we thought that she would hear.
Yeah, because I was on a monthly thing of going in for tons and tons of tests and tissue biopsies and blood and all these other things, and then we got the news in November that I don't have to go back till February because my numbers were so stable. And if my numbers continue to be stable as of February, then we'll stay on a 3-month cycle and go from there instead of the monthly. And they were talking another bone marrow biopsy, and think we've pushed that off.
Everything's kind of keeping at bay and it's stable. And
so cancer's scary. It's not like it's completely gone, but it's dormant. It's like, but the thing is, it could have been sitting like this for a long time, and we never knew it. I mean, that's.
I guess from what he was telling us, there's cases where this kind of thing for some people it turns into something. Other times it kind of oscillates and goes nowhere.
Mm-hmm. And so
people can live with this for most of their lives, we were told.
Yeah, and people don't die like if you just have CLL, you're not going to die from CLL.
Yeah, there's different kinds or forms of it, I guess.
You could die with it, but you don't die from it. But with having the large granulomar leukemia along with the non-specific T-cell lymphoma, those are the ones we're watching a little bit closer. But again, the numbers are stable on those. So right now, we're not freaking out. And I might actually start the infusions in February if my next thing of tests look good. So, and it's just an infusion type thing just to kind of help boost my immune system. So it's been just kind of a scary. I mean, nobody ever wants to hear the giant word. It's like there's no good time to ever hear that word. I mean, but if you're going to hear that word, we got about the best news that we could get hearing that word. But it was just terrifying going from, okay, you have cancer, to we're doing all these tests, to talking to palliative care. My brain was swirling.
Yeah, I mean, it's already been a chaotic year, but then to hear this, and so at least it's been kind of pushed further in the back burner.
Yes, thankfully. So I will, of course, keep everybody updated as we know more with it. I'm not going to know more till February, so.
And then I think we just have one other bit of news, but it's not just us; it's for America. Mm-hmm. And we got President Trump.
Yes, we have. And the thing is, we don't just have President Trump. We have control of the Congress and the House for the first time since Reagan. So we have a Republican president, probably the only president we've had in our lifetimes that love America as much as Abraham Lincoln did.
This is the only time in a very long time that we've had, a right-leaning, what would you call it? Like American system?
Yeah, because we've got the president, we've got the House, we've got Republican control of the House, and Republican control of the Senate. Now, for those who don't know, he is a registered Republican. I am a registered independent because they do not have a constitutional conservative party constitutionalist in the state of Nebraska, or I would be registered as that. But since they don't have that, I am an independent. So that's just kind of a cool little thing so hopefully as of January 20th, we'll see things start to change in the right direction. Mm-hmm. We know we've got the leadership now. It's just people need to kind of
give it a chance.
Get out of their own head and give it a chance.
We've gotten a lot of major cities where it's been the left that have been in charge for year after year after year, and so it's almost as like these cities that are just playing the insanity card over and over and over again. So, to keep talking about change, well, it's time for a change, and I think this is the kind of change we need. And it's for this country to go in a positive direction.
And a lot of these cities are literally the definition of insanity. They're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting stuff to change. So they've got these high poverty levels. They've got.
You look at the election of them, and it's like blue, 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 blue,
and
year after year after year.
All of these the crimes and stuff that are up so much in all these cities, and all of this stuff, and you've got these tent cities and certain things on the West Coast, and then you've got these cities where people literally poop in the streets. I wish I was joking. And then one of the things I'm looking forward to the most after January 1st is the mass deportation of illegal citizens.
I think that's been a major problem for this country because it's basically turned our country from what it once was.
Now, I do want to say neither one of us are anti-immigration. We're just pro-legal immigration.
Yeah, come here the right way.
So before we start getting about that hate going, you just hate all immigrants. No, it's like but if you want to come in, come the right way.
Yeah.
Simple. So, but yeah, it's been quite a year from getting stuck in the snow to taking some vacations to losing 2 beloved family members to our kitties, to doing just some productive stuff around home, some health scare stuff, and just a little bit of everything else. But it's getting better. It's getting better. In 2025, we will have been together. I'm not going to do my math here. 18 years, married for 17.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty happy about that. Yeah, he's still stuck with me, so. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So.
Yep.
We bring out the best and the worst in each other, but I think that goes for everybody. And this is our whole thing is communication. So.
Another adventuresome year for the Lanes in the can.
And I know there's so much stuff that's happened in the last couple of years too. I should probably end up putting something together just to touch on that stuff too. But as you can see, or by the counter, I guess it's down in that corner. On my phone, it's up in this corner. It's there, but on YouTube, it's going to be in that corner down there of the counter. So I apologize that this has gone so long, but I'm hoping that we've been able to entertain you at least a little bit. And in case anybody's curious, I know it's backwards, but I donate a lot of Movie Deputy stuff to try to help end declawing. So it is hashtag paws need claws always. With all of our 7 babies, they all have their claws.
It's a barbaric money-making cow for a lot of vets across the country.
Because a lot of people think
of ignorance exists about
just the
it.
removal of the nails. But no, imagine if somebody cut off all of your fingers at this knuckle right here.
This would be like Mad TV
And then
on
you were trying to walk
steroids where the blood just kind of, it's not good.
Yeah, not good at all.
And it causes a lot of,
Behavior issues.
Yeah.
Okay, Botero doesn't need that. It's like he's already got enough behavior problems as it is.
Yep, it's just going to cause more complications for you if you choose to declaw your kitties,
And
which is
if you rescue a declawed
unkind.
kitty, it's like we don't hold anything against you for that because it's like there's so many declawed kitties that get dumped. So if you're rescuing a declawed kitty, it's like we don't shame you at all.
No.
But please do not take your kitties in and have this mutilation done to them.
Yeah, it's
So.
not worth it. It really is not.
That's just kind of a big forefront. I know this is like our yearly update, but that's always a big forefront that we always try to educate people with that. So.
Yeah.
So until next year.
Well, it is next year. It's 2025.
I'll
Have a good year.
make it a good one so you don't end up going like in my funny picture that I posted.
Right.
And yes, you see how sober he has gotten. I'm getting that way too. You have to look a little bit closer, but I'm getting there too. So who knows? I maybe look more like him next year.
I just go natural.
Always best. So, but
Wishing you the best 2025.
just remember, take your time, and that life is about more than just
Try something different. Be creative.
and make memories.
Definitely.
Because in the end, that's all we really leave behind. So,
Right.
bye.